What if the world's deadliest war never happened? What if there was no World War II? Hi, it's me and this is our channel. And today we're going to take a little trip into alternate history. World War II was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945. It involved the vast majority of the world's nations, including all of the great powers, and resulted in an estimated 70 to 85 million deaths. It was the deadliest conflict in human history, more than twice the casualties of any other war combined. But what if it never happened? What if World War II was erased from history? Well, first off, that's a heck of a lot of lives that would be saved. No Holocaust, no atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, no global depression and destruction. The map of Europe would look very different. Germany would likely still exist as a nation, although perhaps united with Austria. Britain would probably still be a colonial power, though perhaps without Ireland. And the Soviet Union may have taken a very different path, possibly remaining a communist state but without the internal tension caused by its disastrous invasion of Poland. The United States might never have become a superpower, never having been forced to fight a global war. The US was already a wealthy and powerful nation before World War II, but the war and the subsequent economic recovery helped propel it to become the world's leading superpower. Without the war, the US may have continued on its path of isolationism, focusing primarily on its own internal affairs. And speaking of superpowers, the Cold War could look completely different or not exist at all. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union was a major factor in shaping the second half of the 20th century. But without World War II, it's hard to see how this rivalry would play out. Perhaps the US still emerges as a superpower, but without the USSR as a rival. Maybe another power like a post-war Germany or Japan fills that role. Or maybe the Cold War doesn't happen at all, and the second half of the 20th century looks much different. Many technologies developed during World War II, such as radar, jet engines, nuclear power, and computers, may have developed much slower. For example, the development of radar was a key factor in Britain's ability to win the Battle of Britain. Without radar, it's possible that Germany may have won the war in Europe. And the war's end saw the first use of atomic weapons, which had a profound impact on the balance of power in the world and led to the start of the nuclear age. Without the war, it's possible that these weapons may not have been developed for many more years, if ever. And speaking of the end of the war, the United Nations may never have formed. The UN was created in the aftermath of World War II as a way to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts. Without the war, it's possible that the UN doesn't form, or at least not anytime soon, leaving the world with much weaker global cooperation. Colonies in Asia and Africa would likely remain under European control for much longer. For example, India and most of Africa were still under colonial rule when World War II began, but the war effort helped to weaken European powers, and the subsequent decolonization movements quickly dismantled the colonial empires. Without the war, it's possible that these regions would still be under colonial rule. Basically, everything we know about the modern world would be completely reshaped. Entire cultures would be different. Politics would be altered. Even modern life as we know it may not exist. So now here's a question for you. Would skipping World War II create a more peaceful future or an even more dangerous one? Let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Also, be sure to check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.